1910 Chicago bungalow toilet. Crack along the commode, crack in the front. I'm trying to save it because the bathroom is not going to be remodeled until probably next year. No shutoff valve. Separate commode from the back. That was actually covered with tape. Bad thing is, this J is tin. That's not the only bad part of it. I already put WD-40 on the bolts. I gotta clear the caulk around there. Okay, no shutoff valve. I actually put a coat hanger hanging up so no water's coming through here. All right, there's still water in the tank that I gotta try to get out of there, but I might not worry about it until I take it off. Let me show you why this has to be done. Water stains in the basement. 110-year-old, 112-year-old pipe. So I got to knock on that right there. That's was it the closet pipe? The toilet pipe right there. It's a long bend cast iron pipe. And you see it's really, really bad right there, but I don't know if that's just from the water dripping on it or if it's really hollow. So I actually got to knock on that right. Okay, so that's solid. That's solid. That is a good sign. Scraping up all the old caulk with a knife, making a nice cut all the way through, trying to get it where this is going to come off pretty easy. A lot of people caulk a finished caulk and leave a 1 inch at the back. So I'm going to get all this caulk up. One of the bad things about caulking a toilet is you don't know when the leak is there. So I'm going to score around the whole thing, and actually I'm filling a bucket to put the bucket in here.
The ring doorbell.
This should be able to get everything out of there. Got most of it out of here, not all of it. Okay, I WD-40'd those earlier today, and I got my socket set, but this is the monster I'm gonna go after first right here. That right there is tin, so I gotta be extremely gentle in backing off that bolt right there with a pipe wrench in order to free up the commode part to lift off. I actually think I'm going after that top one right there to bring down. Oh man, this isn't budging. Okay, that's not budging. Don't want to force it if it don't have to. I'm gonna try to back off this one right here. Alright. This is coming off right here. I guess with something this old, what I'm just trying to say is choose your battles. That one wouldn't budge. This one started backing off, so I'm backing off this one right now. That's off right there. So I can't tell if there's a gasket in there yet or not. There should be a gasket, but I can't tell. Alright, so the next things I gotta back off are the feet. Oh man, I might have to go get a 13. Alright, 13mm sockets. I'm gonna back off all the feet. Hopefully they back off just as easy as that other thing came off. Alright, there's one. Oh man. Look at that. Broke right off. So far 2 of them broke off. Socket wouldn't fit on that, so I had to get 3 of them broke off. This is why you think ahead. Here's the flange that changes from the old 110-year-old pipe to PVC toilet flange from the closet. It's called the closet, but when you tighten these up, this actually tightens up around the cast iron. I have 3 to 4 inch universal floor mount wax ring, but I always pick these up. These are the toilet screw sets for on the older one. These feet are mounted into the floor, so I'm probably gonna have to drill those out. Those right there are sit on this right here, and that got to be screwed into the ground securely. Since this is a concrete floor because the boiler's underneath it, I got instant hydraulic cement that I could tack something into. Let me finish scraping this around and then I'll be able to get it off. Now this foot has been cracked for years, so I just gotta save this foot because it's gonna get epoxied back on there. I got a lot of the caulk out, but it still won't move. I mean, this commode will not move. Therefore, the only thing holding this on now is caulk and that wax ring. Nothing else is holding it on. So I'm gonna use a vibrating saw to. Now it is dripping in the back because there's still water in the tank. So it's still dripping some in the back. So I gotta try to get this, if I can move the commode now. All right, it is budging. It is coming down after I moved the little kid's toilet seat and was able to get in there. That's off right there. So this got to be able to come out somehow, some way. This is in there really, really, really good. All right, I brought out my vibrating saw to try to get that bolt cut off. Let me see if I get a bigger one to get in there. Bigger one right there. I'm gonna get these bolts cut off. I guess I scared that one. Using the vibrating saw on this one, that one just fell completely in. Alright, so since that one fell in, I bought a punch. I'm gonna see if I can punch that one in. Don't want to break the porcelain. Nope, that one's not going in. Okay, also I brought an angle grinder to cut that. Help me think, people. This gotta come up, but I'm stuck in the back right there. Both of those on that little L are off, but I can't pull it down and I can't pull it back because it's stuck on with these. Let me tell you what I believe. Since that pipe is really sturdy still, I believe that pipe ripped off last time, and then I was able to get this off easier because I cannot get that out for the life of me. Both those are off. There's not any leeway to get that pushed out. The only way to get that on is to take the back of it off, which I'm not, or to put it on as I'm seating it. But I can't get that off for the life of me. I even tried cutting this off. I can't get that off. That one fell through. That is the only thing stopping this from coming off. That right there and these right here. See these right here? I cut them down and I still can't lift this up enough because of that to get it off the seat. My next attempt is going to be with the Sawzall to cut this underneath, since this was cracked anyways. Get a long Sawzall blade to cut this one off. Those back ones, I don't know what I'm going to do because the back ones are in the flange. The back ones I figured I could have slid around because they're in the flange like this and they slide around to twist. The front ones are stationary. I just love Sawzalls. Now that is off. I don't know why this magnet ain't picking it up. It's probably still rusty. But that is off. That Sawzall went right through that. For my next trick, let me try to Sawzall the other one off. Okay. So, trying to cut through the side of this flange is what I'm trying to cut through. And it looks like it might be trying to cut the actual flange for the cast iron, which is this is replacing anyways. Which that is a cast iron flange. I'm such a buckethead. This one's off. Let's see what happens. That's about 3 inches off. I popped it off with this screw. I still can't get it off. It literally is off the ground right now. Alright, the screw is completely off right now. Both sides. This is the only thing holding it on. That pipe is about 3 inches into the commode. I'm sweating my butt off. And you missed the finale. Just working it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Should I do some more back and forth and back and forth and back and forth? And back and forth. Look how long that pipe goes into this one. And this, the rubber started coming out, so I'm gonna have to caulk that really good. So this could come off right now. Clean all my mess up, and then I'll start from scratch. We'll start from putting it back together now. Now it can be cleaned up and put. I know what you're thinking. Why didn't he just Sawzall that pipe and it would have been so much easier? That pipe looks real good still, and I did not want to sawzall that pipe. I'm gonna get those clips off, clean them out, look for the right gaskets to put them on. This right here looks like it was coming out, so I'm gonna silicone that before we use it really good. Oh man. Alright, so this crack was the point of failure right here. See that big crack right there? That's where it failed at. That's not dookie, that's rust from the pipe and the water getting in. So it got, what it got on top of it is it got a large toilet flange. So inside of that large toilet flange is actually the cast iron one. So I got to get off that large toilet flange, and I believe I'm going to start with probably the sawzall or the angle grinder. All right, got to get this old flange off. All right, you see that's not touching anything, so let's move to the next step, the angle grinder. I have a big brick cut blade on it right now, so I'm gonna cut through all this epoxy that's on the floor, and then I'm gonna switch to the metal blade. Harbor Freight dual action drill. Got a, let's see, 532 drill bit on it, and I'm drilling in between. I'm not hitting the pipe. I'm not hitting the what is it called, the cast iron pipe. I'm just drilling in between the two pipes. I'm gonna drill about 50 times around. All right, I'm looking at this and evaluating it. It might be easier, since the angle grinder cut straight through this and my toilet flange is gonna go in here. If I could get this lower, I should be able to. But you know, I'm drilling right here, and I don't want to crack this old I don't want to crack that old cast iron pipe. All right, thinking about it more and more, I got this in here. I'm gonna angle grind around here. You see, I cut it easy with the angle grinder. I'm gonna go on the inside of the lip and angle grind this around, even with the floor, and then my flange will sit on the floor right here. So that's what I'm gonna do here. Gotta take the protector off. It won't fit. Gotta take the protector off. Folks, don't do this at home. Okay, metal bit on the angle grinder. Metal bit on the angle grinder. Let me see if I can get some better light here for you. Oh, yeah, that was almost bad. Metal bit on the angle grinder, inside the hole, cutting a circle around here. I was able to cut through it, so I know I could cut through it. So I'm not gonna cut on the flange itself. The new flange goes on the inside. This flange is for the outside. I could actually try to just go all the way, keep going all the way around this. That's probably what I'll do. All right, so I cut it all off, and if I pull this out right here, I vacuumed that out some. I got the rest of the cast iron pipe on here. See, it's not drilled out. The rest of the cast iron pipe is in there. Okay, but look at all the concrete, the big gap in between the concrete, it's all over the place, the big gap. It's not level on this side, so I got some hydraulic cement to level it, but this flange goes in here. So I gotta make sure that I could get this all the way down in here for this to work. So I gotta see what's stopping it, and I gotta make sure it goes all the way down. I scraped off some of the inside of the pipe, and it went right on some of the inside, the rust of it. So that's gonna set really good. I gotta level it though. And then once it's in there and you're set, you screw these 3 screws up, and it squeezes up against the inside of the other pipe. Okay, so I didn't even finish drilling out the rest of the pipe, but that doesn't even matter because the other one is gonna sit. Let me see if I can hold it. It's gonna sit right inside here, and go inside the pipe and tighten up. But now I got to get my level, because all this around it I got to hydraulic cement it, and you can't even level that. You can't even screw those tight, and so you have this secured into the ground. But the holes all the way around it, there's no way to really secure it because everything is so gapped all the way around it. So what I have to do is really I got to hydraulic cement, level it off right here. See where it goes down right here? That goes below the floor. All right, so I got to level this off with hydraulic cement, fill in all the way around here with hydraulic cement, and then these where the 2 feet go. So I'm gonna have to drill these out where the 2 feet go so I can put more feet in here. So I got to drill those out still. Meanwhile, I'm gonna clean this up and hydraulic cement that. Okay, I don't know if you know anything about hydraulic cement, but it is super fast setting. So since there's absolutely nowhere for me to get a solid screw in here, you know your toilet screws sit in here probably about like that. They slide in and they hook on, they slide in and they hook on, okay? There's nowhere for me to hit a screw. You need at least 4 screws in here. So when I set it and level it with the hydraulic cement, I'm gonna push the screws into the, oh, that's a bad idea. I should just use tap cons. Cause man, if I put those into the hydraulic cement, I have to drill that out to get that out. But I've drilled it out before, and I know it'll be easier if I mix the hydraulic cement, set it in the hole gap, set this on, level it, and set the screws in there. That will not move. We're gonna have the bathroom redone in probably about 2 or 3 years. The whole new bathroom is gonna be redone. I know I would have done that, and I'll have to drill them out. And where these screws are right here, that's where the other screws in the new package have to be set in right there also. So I'm gonna drill those out also so I can put those in. This has to come off still because I gotta reseal this whole thing. Swear to God, that went in 4 inches and 3 inches on each side. That thing, there's no way that was budging. So I gotta put that on as I'm putting this set in this. That has to go in. So I'm gonna clean out the end pieces, and I'm probably gonna put plumber's putty in them now. Alright, so now I'm cleaning the bottom of the bowl. You gotta clean all that wax off there. Got some denatured alcohol and a scrubber. Where the back gasket goes into the commode, that's Marine 5200. Marine 5200 sealant to seal that back in there. I need 2-inch gaskets for that pipe. Last time I used plumber's putty, but I gotta let this sit up anyway, so I might run to Ace Hardware in the morning to get that to finish it back on. I didn't set the hydraulic cement yet. To be honest, I'm too old and my eyes don't work where I can't see nothing. So this is probably gonna sit like this the rest of the night. The old wax ring you get off, kind of just use a scraper and get it off as best you can, and then use some denatured alcohol or whatever you have and try to get it down to porcelain, so then this way your new wax ring will sit directly on the porcelain. If you can see that, my dumb butt. I can't see what the hell I'm doing right now. That's what I'm doing right now. I can't do much else because I can't see anything else. I meant mineral spirits, not denatured alcohol. See, it's cleaning up. That's where all the old wax ring is. So I'm just going to be cleaning all this up, put everything that I don't need away, and then I'm going to level that tomorrow with hydraulic cement. Level it. I'll probably drill out the screws right now, so I'm pick up some epoxy, so when I epoxy the screws in, and everything's gonna set in when I put this on, because it has to all go in here. See, that's still dripping, so I'll put a bucket underneath it. Using my hammer drill, I drilled out holes bigger than where the old screws were. See, they're bigger than where the old screws were. This one actually had like a star in it. Look at that. That has a star in it. Look at that. I gotta break those out. And I got the new ones sitting here, but these are made for wood, see? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the bolt on the top a little bit, and when I set the toilet in here, these ain't going to be in here yet. The back ones are going to be on. I'm going to push these through here, and then I'm going to epoxy them in place from the bottom, and then after the epoxy is dry, then I'm going to tighten them down. I'm not even gonna hydraulic them into the ground. I'm gonna put the epoxy in the tube all the way down to the concrete and put the epoxy in there and then set this in here. So I'm gonna break the rest of these out right now. I'm gonna get a chisel and break the rest of those out. Those are the old screws that are in there. Now I'm gonna drill some more. Drill the other side of that and the other side of this. There were 2 broken off screws in here. 1 and 2. Then that one right there, I just hit another broken off one. So there's 2 in here. So I just gotta keep working at these to get these out of here. I'm gonna put these on, put it in the toilet bowl, and then epoxy it, shoot epoxy through it, a lot of epoxy to fill in this whole hole. And then I'm not gonna tighten it up, I'm gonna let it set, and then I'm gonna tighten the screws down. Here you can see this, how satisfying this is going to be. Oh, if I get it out, oh no. It's almost there. It's like trying to get a pimple out. This one probably could come out, the other one fell in. I'm just going to be able to grab it. Oh, come on, baby. Come on. You're almost there. Aha. That's gone, that's out. But I gotta make sure the hole is deep enough that's gonna be able to sit this in here and bolt down the other one. It's gonna be like Dr. Pimple Popper. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Aha. That's the second one that was planted in there. Like I says, I gotta be able to get that screw in there to epoxy it, but there's a rock that's loose in there. So I'm gonna try to break that rock out. This is good to go. All right, with these other flanges, they go in here and they lock in here. And you put this down to kind of hold it in place. So you have a little room, a leeway to make sure your toilet is straight. So I prefer to use these myself because the novice that I am, I prefer to use those than to make sure this is completely level with the ground on a 110-year-old house. But what you need to make sure is this is level and this is the low part. So this is what I got a hydraulic cement to fill this in and to fill in all the way around here, because this needs to be held in place with at least 4 screws before you can even tighten that down. So I'm actually thinking about doing that tonight to be ahead of the gun tomorrow. Hydraulic cementing this level. Yeah, because this is really low sitting on the front. But to tell you the truth, alright, so I brought my level. Side by side is good. Front to back, it's horrible. The front got to come up more for it to be level. But this is where it sank right here. The concrete sank right here and cracked. So I'm going to have to lift this higher. Now I brought these tap cons because I had some extra tap cons. And if I got to drill it out in the future, I got to drill it out in the future. I was just going to see if they were going to fit. So no, they're not going to fit. So I got to get something smaller than these tap cons. Because if I hydraulic cement it and put the screws in it, the screws got to be able to hold this plate down. So I'm going to put the hydraulic cement in, and then I'm going to put it, level this right here with the rest of it. And then I'm going to put the screws into the hydraulic cement. Okay, any way you look at it, the ground is unlevel. Any way you look at it. So I really have to raise the ground about 1/2 inch for this to be able to sit straight. The back can barely touch. The back can barely touch. And then the front has to come up about 1/2 inch for it to sit straight. Alright, but don't forget, I have to put the screws in as I put the hydraulic cement. But I'm really thinking on just setting the hydraulic cement today and tap con it tomorrow. Alright, I got 4 bolts that I could hold it in place with. Bad thing is they're stars. So, but either way, once this is gonna come out, I'm gonna do the same thing like this. It's gonna be drilled out, leveled out, or whatever I have to do. Now to mix the hydraulic cement. And why I'm using these is because these give me some leeway to get it perfect on the commode. Instead of using these where this has to, I don't even know if this back wall is level, to use these. So these slide around and give me some leeway. But you really should make sure that there's enough room, like they will be kind of level-ish. And then you got the rest of the leeway where it got to be able to lock in place. So I am going to measure from here to the wall, from here to the wall, to make sure they're okay. But then you have a little bit extra leeway to move them around. See, just eyeballing it, they're at 12.5 each one of the main screws that you're going to set your toilet on. So that's where they're going to have, you know, kind of want to have to be. And you can move it up and down, up and down. So I know if this is straight with this, and you can put this kind of with this crack, you should be kind of on the spot when I hydraulic cement them in. I'm gonna find my torques with the damn drill. You see how hard it's getting already. Alright, that's the back, that's down. Alright, the front's not gonna go all the way down. Remember, I gotta level it. Okay, why I didn't show you the hydraulic cement is because that stuff dries so fast. So you see, it's level down here. This is where the leg is going to come, and it comes level down there. That's hydraulic cement. Now I can't really do these torques until that sets. So I'm probably going to put a fan on it because I made it a little bit wet because it got really hard for me to work with. So I can't set these, but these are in the hydraulic cement, and I had to screw them in place so they'll hold. I gotta let it dry. That's not dry yet, but God, that's pretty sturdy in place. I just wiped it off and it's like solid rock already. So I know I'm gonna have to shim the toilet, but I'm okay with it because now it's gonna sit level for right now. Alright, so I let that sit overnight, nice and solid, completely solid. We got 2 bathrooms. I got a fan on it drying the rest of that little bit right there. I have to run the Ace Hardware to get the little gaskets that go in here, the washers, the rubber washers. But I didn't tighten up these yet. 1, 2, 3. I didn't tighten up those yet because I want to wait till I get back, make sure this is completely hard, completely dry. I'm gonna have to shim up the bowl because it was just, you know, odd shaped because of the ground crack. So I'm going to shim up the bowl and then caulk around it, and you're not going to even tell that it's not sitting completely on the ground. And then when you shim everything up, it takes some of the weight off this also. But you seen I had to screw these in even because the hydraulic cement was sitting that fast. So let me go get these pieces right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the top first, putting it back on. This is going to be in the top. So when I slide the other one on, it can slide onto this, and then I can adjust the up and down, and then I'll tighten them on. Alright, here we are the next day. This is dry. This is good to go. Solid. This is a little bit wet. This is in there good enough. So what I bought for these right here, where you're gonna have to bolt the front of your toilet to that they were broken off, self-mixing epoxy. Now this one's really deep, so I'm gonna put some paper or paper towel in here. This one's not too deep, so these are gonna sink in here, but you don't want the epoxy to go all in there. You want the epoxy to kind of stay at the top to go around this, and it'll epoxy it to the concrete. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shove some paper towels or something in here to create the bottom so it don't flow all the way through, at least on this one. And I want the epoxy just level. Okay, so this is fast set. Let's see. This is 5 minutes, so I'm not going to put this down in here until I'm ready to set the toilet? If so, I'm gonna have to drill the holes to bolt these back in here, and I don't want to have to drill the holes to bolt those back in there. These right here, they have the little plastic that you could kind of put down, so it almost holds you in place where you need to be to set the toilet. That holds it in place where you need to set the toilet. My problem is the big pipe on this old bathroom. I gotta stick it in here and slide the toilet back on this. So that's gonna be the upper and that's gonna be the lower. You see one shorter? I had to go find some gaskets for this. They say these pieces are becoming obsolete on these old toilets. Alright, so I sanded that down some to get it real smooth. I have my rubber slip washers here. You have to put these on before your rubber slip washers. So I have one new one, and I gotta find the less of the two evils of these right here. Because you need a slip washer facing up to the tank and one out to the bowl. Okay, you put your nuts on before your washer. So this now can go up into the tank. Get this out here, it's still dripping. This I'm kind of gonna get it as high as I can in here for right now, because I don't know how high or low it's gonna have to be. And I'm just getting this on here. Okay, so it's not tight yet or nothing like that. I'm not trying to bog it down, I'm just trying to get it to hold right in there onto the bottom of the tank. Bad thing is gonna start dripping right here. Look, it's dripping right here now because it's not tight. So put this back over here for right now. I don't know how high or low that's gonna have to go, so that's why I didn't put that on now. Okay, next. Oh, I didn't tighten these. I gotta get the Allen wrench to tighten that before I put the wax seal on. Okay, so now when you compress this, it raises this bottom ring and it compresses the rubber against the inside thing, but you want to do a kind of symmetrical. Yes. Okay, those are tight. That rubber gasket is tight in there. Next is going to be your wax ring that you gotta put on top. This is your wax ring, but it is in a plastic here. You gotta take it out the plastic ring, which sets right in there. Your wax ring sits right in the middle in here. I don't like that these actually screws seem like they're in the way right there. But when you compress it, this compresses against the toilet and this compresses against your flange. So I just want to make sure that this is in the middle. I don't want this to get stuck on those flanges when I'm compressing it down. Okay, here's the toilet. Cleaning off the best I can underneath. Marine silicone on the back. Now these are the ones that are going to go into the floor and get epoxied in. They're not going to get set in so the toilet is on. I'm going to use these hollow bolts. They give you some, they're not hollow and some hollow. So I'm going to use the hollow ones back here so I get that tight on really good. I'm going to barely put these on here, so when I push them in and let it dry in an hour, then I can tighten them down in the front of it. So this is about ready to be going on. The only thing that worries me is this gotta go into this as I'm smushing the ring down, so that's gonna be a kind of pain in the butt. $30 toilet flange to compress. This base is wider than these nuts. It will not set the toilet flush inside of there. See what I'm saying? This is 3 3/4, and between these screws, it's not 3 3/4. Therefore, even though that's sealed to the end, it won't allow the toilet bowl to sit flush because it's sitting on those bolts. So I gotta try to get these out. Remember I torqued them in yesterday? And see if I get these out. That one wasn't in all the way. Okay, that one. And I need one more. Then I'm gonna buy bigger ones of these. I'll probably epoxy these suckers in too now. I gotta take, oh man, I gotta find one more of these. See, that is stuck in there good. That rubber piece did seal it really good because I can't even pull this flange out now. This flange is in there really good. So I gotta make sure I get it all the way down because I can't get this flange out yet. Alright, so since I gotta run to the store anyways for extra 4-inch flange, I'm using one of the epoxies and I'm filling the holes where the screws were at. So when I set them again, they'll be able to get some bite. This is 5-minute epoxy. So I'll be able to get some bite now. Some better bite everywhere the screw was at. So what I'm going to do with the other flange is, this is plumber's putty. I'm going to plumber's putty the whole bottom part of the flange. Plumber's putty, a nice bead around the bottom part of the flange is going to fit around here so nothing leaks back up this way. I want to do like maybe 2 rounds of plumber's putty before I set it in here. 4-inch toilet opening, 3 3/4. You cannot use one of these updated newfangled tightening up on the line from the inside PVC replacement cast iron closet flange, because a 4-inch toilet opening will not fit inside that. This is the only flange I found, but it got a sealed end, so you got to hit it with a hammer to get the knockout out. Wish me luck. It says you're supposed to hit this. I had to hit it from the back to get it out. Or do anything else. It can sit in there. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. I gotta get some of the old wax off. I bought a new wax seal. But yes, it can sit in there. See the other one? Now let me get those off so you can see. This one, it got stuck on those Allens. This doesn't got the Allens. So it can sit in there. Perfect. You gotta be kidding me. Now with the hydraulic cement, it won't go in. So now I gotta tap it down to get it in. Or get some of this hydraulic cement out right here. This flange, you see, is a lot thinner than this flange right here. Let's use a chisel to make it smooth so I can fit the other one in, because it almost fits in. I just gotta smooth all around this to get it all the way in. Okay, so if I tap it in, it's gonna be a nice snug fit now. Bam, really good. Okay, so I gotta get my bead of plumber's putty ready, because around this flange right here, or all around here, I'm putting a nice bead of plumber's putty so it seals up around here. Plumber's putty, you just work around, make it longer. See how it's stretching out? I'm a nice thick bead, and it's gonna go around this right here. So you don't get your where you gotta screw in your screws. Put your screws right here. A nice big bead of plumber's putty right here. This stuff works really good. Okay, now find out where your flanges are gonna be and where your screw holes are gonna be. Remember, this is 12.5 from the end over there. And then you can start tapping it in. See, the plumber putty starts coming out right here, so you just pull it out right here, put it where you need it. Because this right here, You can't have plumber's putty because you gotta be able to move your little bolt right here. Before you tighten that down, you're gonna go ahead and make sure your pieces are your 12.5 and 12.5. Okay, so what the plumber's putty does is it stops any water around that ring to come back up. So I put a really thick bead on that. Now I gotta shoot my screws in again. Before I secure that down, remember 12.5, 12.5 is where these screws need to be able to be secured at 12.5 and 12.5. And what I did is I cut this back some so it's easier to mount the toilet. That's in, that's almost ready to go. Okay, this one we put on the outlet of the bowl. There's the toilet bowl right here. We put on the outlet and that should sit perfectly inside there. Now I cut that back so it should be easier to get in there. Jumping the gun, I didn't secure the flange to the floor. I'm gonna try to use the same screws right here, because remember I put epoxy in there, so that's all epoxied. Alright, that's what I'm talking about. Now we're cooking with gasoline. Alright, that floor is in there. On the floor, I have the bolts in here. I'm going to squeeze, not by these two, I'm going to squeeze some 5-minute epoxy on this side and on that side. This is your structure which holds your toilet bowl on. I'm not putting it in here. Just around where I can squeeze it in right here. This is because this is what holds when people sit on your toilet. This is what holds it, and the feet itself. I'm going to shim it and caulk it also. Try to get as much of this around it as I can, but you don't want to put it where the toilet screws go. Don't forget, I cut the pipe back further to make it easier to set the toilet. I got the wax ring on the toilet. Trying to find the screws. This one screw in. Gotta find the other screw. Second screw in. It's going down. Okay, starting to go down, so I gotta put the set screws in now. Try to line up your front screws where your front screws are gonna be also. Try to line up your front screws, and then you can start torquing this down and it'll set the seat better also. Since it's an extra thick gasket, I'm tightening these down to make that line up. I squeezed that in and connected that now. So that one's connected, the top one's just not connected. Okay, that's in right there. But since it was an extra thick ring, it's a little bit off the ground, but I'm fine with that. Now this is a little bit off from where the old one was to the new one. But if I put them in on an angle, they're fine. See? They're fine. So I'm going to set these in right now and let them dry. They're actually screwing right into the epoxy that's there. I'll put some more epoxy in there. Okay, everything shimmed up. Zero water from underneath. Remember this rubber gasket at 5200 yesterday? It was leaking. That's JB Weld. The seal on the bottom of this is leaking. Not the one on the outside, the one that connects the tank to the outside is leaking. Thinking about hydraulic cement in that, see that pink gasket all the way down there? That's what's leaking. Alright, so that gasket that was leaking, I hydraulic cemented the inside and put the JB weld on the outside. Same thing right here with the 5200. I JB welded it. There's no more leaks coming down, but I'm gonna let it set and dry. I didn't put the front two pieces in yet because I want. Okay, I didn't put the caulk around the bottom yet, but I did shim it. So far so good, no leak underneath here, right? I put PTF tape on both sides and what is that stuff? JB weld, and what's that stuff over there? So it's filling up now. So far so good, nothing dripping down with the JB weld, nothing at all. This is where it was dripping when I flushed, right here, where the JB weld is at. So the more that fills up, the more weight, the more pressure is behind that right there. So it's almost filled up. And like I says, there's no pressure, there's no water in this pipe right here until you flush the toilet. And then when you flush the toilet, that's the pressure that comes through here. Zero water leaks. Zero water leaks. That's awesome. As long as I don't got water on the basement floor, we're good. Dry. That's the stuff that spilled through from yesterday. Hydraulic cement. It seems to be working. Everything can be buttoned up now. It is done. It is fixed. You see, I still didn't put the two front ones in yet. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll clean it up and epoxy it. I am done. Alright, so I got the JB weld and the extra pieces. This ain't extra, but remember, you gotta put these in right here. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna put them in on the angle, because that's where the holes are at. But I'm gonna put the screw on the top and then push down as much as I can. I could probably screw these in the extra JB weld that's there to get them a little bit lower, because there is some JB weld there, but I want it completely solid. I would rather open and screw, so I might get open and screws, but I'm going to JB weld these in and JB weld this little part right here right now. I'm going to get some open and screws to put on this right here, and then this way I can screw it all the way down tight as I can get it. But the front of this is on a little angle, so both of these gotta go in on a little angle with JB weld. That's deep enough right there. I know it's hard to see right here, but that's deep enough right there. This one right here, I filled in the hole a little bit too much with JB weld, so I would need to open and screw. I could actually screw that in, but you don't want a JB weld to the top of the porcelain. You just want to stick the stick all the way onto the ground and put it into the ground. This one I can see. The other side I can't see. But the other side, all I didn't do is put a little bit in this. And then I gotta buy the covers to cover the top, caulk around the side, and Bob's your uncle. So like I said, this one with the broken foot I could see. But the theory is to put the... Oh, I can't even angle this one to get right there. I wasn't trying to angle it in there. Then you mix the JB weld in the hole. Just fill it to the top. You don't want any on the porcelain. So we're filling the hole a little bit. Then when you put the bolt in there, I'm gonna screw it in some. This is the one that had some JB weld already. Now back to, I'm gonna get an open end screw for this one right here. So that's in there like that. So this one, I could angle it to put the JB weld in. So I'm gonna put the JB weld in the ground on this one right here. I fill them in the hole. Pressing down on the plunger, filling the hole with JB weld right now. Okay, and then sticking this in to the JB weld. Then I'm just gonna let it dry, and I ain't gonna put these screws on until tonight after it's completely JB welded in place. Screw tap all the way down if you bottom it out. That's why I want to open it in screws, because this is gonna stick out a lot. You put the screw cap on, and you could actually screw it in more, push it down and screw it in more to the old JB weld that was in there. I might put some more JB weld in this one. This feels kind of loose. Oh, it's in there, but not a lot. You can tell right there. So I'll put some more in here. Okay, I gotta save some for the front. Then I'm gonna just set it and forget it, because there is some in there. Let it dry. Now I'm gonna JB weld this, and then, oh man, I put some on the little rug there. With the JB weld on this. And you see underneath this one, I put I had to put braces underneath right here, supports. Okay, so that's put together like that. And then this is clear JB weld that I'm gonna put over the top a little bit that's left. It'll sink in the little crack right there. It'll say if anybody hits it, it don't fall off. Okay, that's all the JB weld. Just forget about that until tomorrow. And then you gotta finish your caulk line all the way around, and they sell caps you can put on these. Alright, that's done. I'll go over it later, and it'll be the beginning of the video.